I'm
All
going
right,
live.
let's go. 5 minutes. Let's start the fight countdown.
Yeah, wait. Now we're live,
Awesome.
right? Recording.
Welcome, everybody. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Ignite You, Accelerator, how to put you first while still thriving professionally. My name is Craig Bruce. My name is Craig Bruce. My name is Craig Bruce. My name, of course, is Craig Bruce. I am the founder and managing principal of Evolve Health and Lifestyle, and I'm going to be your guide on this for this next 55 minutes, and I am super excited that all of you are here today.
Why is it important for you to ignite now and live the best life now personally?
I think it's really important. Like, I really wanted to join this today to kind of think about
What resonated about that model?
it. De-emphasizes the previous circle, the community one, and reminds us that there is more than just the self, relationships, and career.
And one thing that hit me very strongly is the idea that our gut is telling us something. And it goes to, not just knowing a lot of stuff and you're smart and this and that, but there's got to be a better way.
Why is it important for you to really ignite you and live your best life now?
Is it important, to do this? I know that I need the energy and the mind share to be present for myself personally, taking care of me, sort of my health and lifestyle, to ensure that I have the mind-body connection to show up in all of those areas in a really productive way. So that's part of why I'm here today.
So I'm committing to spending an hour a day working on my magic, my singing, and my other performance elements, because that's what ignites my spark that I bring to everyone else, even if it doesn't make it to a stage or a performance anywhere.
You can give what you don't have. And so when I say this to myself, I remind that if I want to bring results for my clients, to grow my business, to be the best mom and a good wife, I need to invest in me.
Gotta be health, Craig. Gotta be health.
Health and wellness are huge for me also. And my biggest non-negotiable is quality of food that I eat.
One of the things that I could do for the boundaries is just put my phone on silent at 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9. Do not look at the phone, get rid of it. Don't answer it. It's a major, it allows me to separate.
Health, along with everybody else, health is the most important value for me. I've been very consistent. I'm walking 3 miles a day. Can't do without it in San Diego on the beach and Palm Springs, the mountains here.
For me, I feel like that's like lack of harmony, like saying no or saying yes when it really should be a no, and vice versa, I guess. I need to find like where I'm looking to, and I like that the 3 spheres of influence, because for me, I feel like career is really high and then relationships is high and then self is very low. So I felt like that was really good to kind of do that graph for myself to see kind of where I was at. So
What do you need to do to make that happen?
Acknowledging it is the first step, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know yet. This is the first time I've really thought about that specific aspect. And
Would it be okay if I make a suggestion?
please.
What if you scheduled it on your calendar? Schedule meal time on your calendar. I know from experience in working with hundreds of people like you guys that if it's not on your calendar, chances are it's not going to happen.
you're driving home that if it's not on the calendar, it won't get done. And you know what? I'm finding that is very true.
I should use the word evolve because I am evolving into a more organized person.
Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Craig Bruce and welcome to the Ignite You Accelerator. This is our summer edition and it's all about longevity and how we can use the summer months to actually enhance our longevity. And again, my name is Craig Bruce. I'm founder and managing principal of Evolve Health and Lifestyle, and I'm going to be your guide on this adventure. Super excited that you are here with us today. We are live streaming, and we've got people here on the Zoom in the Zoom room, and super excited. Feel free to type in the chat where you are zooming in from. My team and I absolutely know that you have a choice in how you spend your time, and we are super excited and super honored that you are spending it here with us today. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started because time is of the essence. I can't believe it's July already, but again, this is about igniting you, our summer edition. It's about unlocking your longevity and through maximizing the summer months for health and well-being. Got some questions for you as we begin to, who here is a high performer and crushing your career? If that's you, type a 1 in the chat. Love it. Absolutely. And who here wants to live your best life every day, the best version of you, whatever that version is? It might mean more freedom. It might mean having more energy, or maybe it's harmony and balance. Maybe it's just getting reconnected with the aspects of your life that bring you joy and love. If that's you, type a 1 in the chat. But who here feels like with that success has come some sacrifice? Sacrifice in parts of your life. Maybe it's your health, your wellness, and definitely some key relationships along the way. If you're like most of my clients, that might be resonating with you. And the ultimate question right now that I want you to think about and reflect about is, are you truly living your best life now? If you are, that's amazing. If you're not, you're in the right place. Even if you are, you're in the right place, because what we're going to share with you today is some really science-backed behaviors that you can incorporate immediately that will begin to enhance your energy, enhance your connection, enhance the way you move your body, so that ultimately, wherever you are on that continuum of living your best life now, you're taking it to the next level, because it's about progress, not perfection. But I want to, as business leaders and entrepreneurs, most of us don't take the time to just stop and pause and reflect. We're on this hamster wheel, that proverbial hamster wheel, and we just keep running and running and running and running. I know that was where I was 8 years ago. So we're going to take a moment to just pause and reflect. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want you to take a moment. And if you have a pen, I encourage you to write this down, because what you write, you invite. Let me repeat that. What you write, you invite. The first question is, why is it important for you to ignite you and live your best life now? And I want you to think about that from 3 perspectives. Why is it important for you to ignite you and live your best life now for you personally, for the relationships that you're involved with, and for your career? Again, for you personally, for your relationships, and for your career. Take a moment and just pause and reflect on that. Again, I invite you to write that down. And the second question that I want you to reflect on, I'm going to invite you to reflect on, is what role does your health and lifestyle play in living your best life now? What role does your health and lifestyle play in living your best life now? Again, I invite you to write that down. Hang on to that. We'll come back later and reflect on that. What are we going to do today in the next 35, 45 minutes? This Ignite You Accelerator is designed where I'm going to share with you some science-backed behaviors that will really move you forward in the direction of igniting you. And what I have learned over the last 8 years in coaching hundreds of high-performing business leaders and entrepreneurs just like you is that when we design our morning ritual and our evening ritual to include these science-backed behaviors, we change our lives. And because I want this time to be value added, you're actually going to get the opportunity today to design a morning ritual and an evening ritual. And then at the end, I'm also going to ask you and invite you to connect with our Ignite You community. And when you connect with like-minded people, we know the impact that that has that can have on your overall life. Before we get started, would it be okay if I just shared just a little bit about my story? Many of you I know, some of you I don't know. So I just want to take a couple of minutes to share my story. Thank you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. For 25 years, I lived this life of a global busy executive. 2.5 million miles on one airline and 1 million miles on another. And I wore it like a badge of honor. I even bragged about it to my friends. And yet it was this life that was taking its toll. You see, what I discovered several years later is that I was living, but I wasn't alive. And it was all good until it wasn't. Because one day I landed in my doctor's office and she ordered bed rest. But do you know what my version of bed rest was? It was my laptop, my cell phone, and conference calls from my bed. And it was in that moment that I finally realized that my current lifestyle had become my new normal and it was killing me. And something had to change. I had to get myself off of that proverbial hamster wheel. So I went on a 5-year journey researching science-based solutions for the mind and body. And all my learnings became best practices that I use to transform my life and that I'm using today to transform the lives of my clients, high-performing business leaders and entrepreneurs just like you. And folks, that's why I'm on this mission to empower high-performing business leaders and entrepreneurs to embrace their uniqueness and soar in all aspects of their lives, and realize that you don't have to continue sacrificing your life and those key relationships to have the continued success, even more success. And as I said, for the last 8 years, I've been coaching folks like you. And I always ask clients when we get through the coaching process, what empowering lessons did you learn? And I just want to share with you one example of a global business leader who said, Craig, what I'm really taking away from our time together is the morning and evening rituals that you helped me create set me up for success during the day and in the evening. And also helping me identify stressful situations that trigger me, and by using breath, help me to manage my reactions. It takes me from that reactivity mode to a more creative mode. And then also, and we won't have time to do a lot of this today, but we are gonna work on your morning and evening rituals. He also said that it's so important, the fact that I got very clear on my values and non-negotiables to be able to set boundaries so that I can stay on track. I want to thank you again for being here today and putting yourself first. So thank you. And by staying till the end, I'm going to offer you a complimentary Ignite You call with me. And we'll talk more about that at the end. So let's rock and roll. Let's get started. Why is it that so many business leaders and entrepreneurs burn out? Why do you think that is? Type that in the chat. Feel free. Yes. Because we're doers. In fact, in a recent global study, and this study included 17,000 executives, leaders around the world in almost 2,000 organizations, 60% of the leaders reported that they feel washed up at the end of the day. I believe that's an indication of some level of burnout. It's why we've seen a mass exodus. It's why we've seen more executives, including CEOs, leave the workforce. And why is it that we as high performers, why do we burn ourselves out? Well, in my experience, one of the first questions that I ask, and I'm going to ask you to reflect on this as well. In my experience, if you think about the three major spheres of life that we have, of our life that we have influence over, or to some degree control over, those three spheres are ourself, our relationships, and our career. And when I ask my clients to take a moment and pause, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing and reflect on how you are spending your time. The overwhelming majority of my clients come back with a graph that looks like this. I want you to just take a moment and reflect how you're spending your time. Does it look like this graph? If it does, I want you to ask the question, is this where I want it to be? You may be here today, but is this where you want to be in 6 months, 12 months, 24 months? I want you to take a moment to reflect. And I believe that you don't have to sacrifice your career and the success that you have in your career to take care of yourself and the relationships that are important to you. This lifestyle leads to stress. And in and of itself, stress is not a bad thing. Our body is designed to react to stress. Our body is designed to react to stress because it's reacting to taxing demands. And our body is designed to heal itself if we get out of the way. But most of us don't get out of the way. And what happens is that stress becomes chronic. And that's when it leads to all kinds of issues. And these issues play out in multiple ways in our body. Gaining weight, holding on to body fat, waking up tired. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe you have lost focus. Maybe you can't remember things. Sweet cravings. Anybody here have sweet cravings late in the afternoon? And at the more, I would say, severe extreme of how this manifests is it manifests in anxiety and depression. Just feeling alone and not having fun. And we know that today's world, that the level of mental health issues are at an all-time high. What's the answer? An answer is to prioritize you. To prioritize you, to invest in you so that you ignite you. And that's why I've created this Ignite You Accelerator, the summer version. I love this quote. Don't know who said it. Summertime is always the sweetest reminder that life is meant to be lived with an open heart and a curious spirit. So here we are, the end of July. Can't believe it. August is just around the corner. We still have several more months of summertime and warm weather. And so we've got the opportunity to begin to incorporate science-based behaviors into our daily life that, based on science, based on the experience of working with hundreds of executives and business leaders like you, have an immediate impact. And here are 8 that I want to share with you. And then we're actually going to get the opportunity to do something with this information. So the first is stay hydrated. We know, what is it that most people do? Reach for the first thing when they wake up in the morning. Well, actually, the first thing they reach is most likely their phone. But very quickly after that, they reach for a cup of coffee. That's the absolute wrong thing to do. The first thing you should do is to reach for some water, because our body gets dehydrated overnight. And by beginning to hydrate our body first thing in the morning, we begin to nourish our body with water. Our body is about 2/3 water, depending on whether you're male or female. And by continuing to hydrate throughout the day, particularly during the summer months when we're sweating, expending lots of calories, it's so critical. The second science-backed behavior is cultivate mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is really about being aware and being present. It's about stepping off of that treadmill at least for 2 or 3 minutes during the day, at different times in the day, to get present, to listen to your body. We know that that can decrease stress and anxiety. We know that it can give us greater focus. The third area is get moving, the third science-backed behavior. I don't care what you do, just get out and move. That might be going to the gym. It might be riding a bike. It might be just taking a walk in the morning. And if you take a walk in nature, you get bonus points, which is the fourth area. Embrace nature. Get out barefoot into your yard. Get out into your garden. Get your hands in the garden. Take hikes. We know that there's more and more research coming out that getting out into nature, because nature is full of energy, and we as beings are all energy, connecting to the earth. More and more research is suggesting that has a positive impact on our emotional state, on our blood pressure and heart rate. The fifth area is practice gratitude. And don't worry, we're going to get real practical with these. I'm just giving you the overview now. Practice gratitude. Be grateful. Start your day in a state of gratitude. Because we know that with gratitude, the body releases hormones and neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. I'm sure you've heard of those, that help our body feel good, feel happy, feel connected when we're in a state of gratitude. So part of your morning ritual and your evening ritual can be gratitude. The sixth area is nourish with seasonal foods. And during the summertime, many people have gardens, summer markets. Eat whole foods. Stay away from the processed foods. It's so much easier in the summertime. Eat the rainbow. The seventh area is connect with community. More and more research is coming out. A lot of the research around the centenarians and those communities where people live to be over 100, and the importance of community. So during the summertime, you've got the opportunity for picnics. You've got the opportunity for outings. And if you do that out in nature, you're getting bonus points. And then finally, prioritize sleep. Sleep, we cannot underestimate the importance of sleep and that it has on our body's ability to rejuvenate, our minds, our brains' ability to actually process information, to flush out toxins. Many of those toxins are linked to dementia and Alzheimer's. And so prioritizing sleep so that you get quality sleep. And by quality sleep, I mean deep sleep and REM sleep. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. These are the 8 science-backed behaviors that when you focus on these 8, I've done all the research for you. These are the 8 that will change your life. But how do we do that? You may be saying, Craig, wow, this is a lot. How do we do it? How do we make this practical? Well, here is my number 1 secret for the summer. It's rituals. And I use the word rituals rather than routines because what I find, and think about the word ritual versus routine. What does ritual mean to you versus routine? For most of my clients, a routine is, something you get up and do, something that happens over and over. And a ritual is something that actually is more sacred. It's a more powerful word. And rituals are really involve habits that we repeat. And when we begin to change those rituals using habits, we begin to change our life. We also know that this change represents a growth mindset. And there's a lot of research about the importance of having a growth mindset and how that impacts productivity and achievement. And then finally, with rituals, when they become part of your daily habits and your daily life, ultimately, you are telling yourself and others what's important to you. I love this quote. Again, not sure who said it. Daily rituals are the key to unlocking the extraordinary within us. They power us to design our lives deliberately, cultivating habits that shape our reality and align us to our deepest aspirations. Think about that. Unlocking the extraordinary within us. Who doesn't want that? And they empower us, I love that word, to design our lives, to get intentional. You know, one of my mentors, Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is founder of the Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles, he says about intention, this is his quote, and I invite you to write this down. He says, with intention comes design. Without intention, you have default. With intention comes design. Without intention comes default. Who here wants to live your life in default? None of us. So what do we do with this? What I have found, again, in coaching hundreds of high-performing business leaders, entrepreneurs like you, is that when we create rituals, a morning ritual and an evening ritual, that we begin to move our life forward in the direction of living our best life now, an even better life. That morning ritual is designed to prepare you for the day, to set you up for success, to be intentional about your day. It allows you to be more productive, to feel in control, to begin with some healthy habits. There are all kinds of reasons why and benefits to have a morning ritual. And again, I've done all the research because there's so much conflicting out there. I'm going to share with you 6 actual habits that science suggests should be part of a morning ritual that will set you up for success. And here they are. Feel free to take some notes, because then after this, in a moment, you're going to get to actually design your morning ritual. I want you to take away something of value. The first is waking up at the same time every day. And don't hit that snooze. The only reason you're hitting the snooze is because you didn't get some good quality sleep the night before. Why wake up at the same time every day? Our body loves consistency. And when we wake up at the same time every day, our body loves that and gets accustomed to it. And our circadian rhythm, that 24-hour clock that regulates many of the activities that go on in our body, it sets that circadian rhythm. The second habit is to set your intention for the day. Before getting out of bed, very quickly after getting out of bed, I invite you to ask yourself 3 questions. And these are the 3 questions that I ask myself. How am I going to show up today? Who am I going to be? The second question is, what am I going to focus on today that will get me closer to my goal or my goals or living my best life now? And here's the gratitude piece. What am I grateful for today? The third, hydrate before you caffeinate. The fourth, get out into some sunlight and get grounded. We know that our body loves that sunlight. We know that it resets our circadian rhythm. We know that it helps enhance cortisol, which wakes us up. And when you do that grounded, you get bonus points. Move, move, move. Just move your body. And finally, if you're up for it, more and more research is being said about showering. Take a cold shower, or at least at the end of your warm, hot shower, begin to add some cold shower. It stimulates the body, reduces, it promotes the good fat in our body. Here's an example of a client that I've been working with. She lives in New York. She's an executive. Here's an example of her morning ritual. And what you can see is we've gotten very specific with the times, because what I have found is when we do that with executives like you, is that we increase the probability that you're going to execute on this. It might look a little like we're over-engineering it. However, my experience is this works. So she gets up, sets the alarm, drinks water. She follows it with a cup of coffee, writes in her gratitude journal, walks her kids to school. Now she can do that because she's in Manhattan. So she gets out, gets some sunlight, comes home, gets her movement in, showers, begins her work, has her lunch, and then by 2 p.m., she's walking to get the kids. That's her morning ritual. So you can see many of these habits that I described earlier built into a very practical morning ritual. I'm going to invite you to take a few minutes to design your own morning ritual. And I want you to think about how you nourish your body in that ritual, how you restore your body, and how you move your body. Take a moment to jot this down. Jot down what's coming up for you. And later, you can go back and then actually detail this more. And then hopefully you'll set up a call with me and we can walk through it and we can talk about it. So, morning ritual. Your evening ritual. The evening ritual is designed to set you up for success. And research suggests that sleep, getting good quality sleep, really helps us optimize how our body functions. Many of the biological and physiological processes, including your immune system, your hormones, the way you move your body, the way your brain functions. And what most of us, well, not all of us, here's how we spend our last 30 minutes. We're on these devices, or we're on our laptops. And I'll share with you in a moment, that's the absolute wrong thing to do to get quality sleep. When we think about quality sleep and your evening ritual, I want you to think about it from two perspectives. One is sleep hygiene. So what are the practices and habits that you adopt to get a good night's sleep? How do you set yourself up for quality sleep? And I'll share some of those best practices in a moment, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to protecting that last hour before bedtime. That last hour is so critical to setting yourself up for deep sleep and REM sleep. And that means staying off of electronics. And then the other component of the evening ritual is really around sleep environment. So what is the space in which you sleep? And the bottom line is you want it dark, cool, quiet, and comfortable. And I'll share with you a few more details. So as I did with your evening ritual, here's the evening ritual. Go to bed, stay on schedule. Ensure that you go to bed and get up around the same time every day. On the weekends, if you want to sleep in 30 minutes, 60 minutes, but don't sleep in more than that. Again, our body gets into a rhythm. Reduce the technology. Just keep it out of the bedroom. Everything from your phone to e-readers to tablets, TVs, get them out. Because what that does is, in the evening, our body is telling us it's time to go to bed. And when we expose ourselves to bright lights, even when we're brushing our teeth, or if you're taking off your makeup, if you're exposing yourself to bright lights, you're sending a message to your body through your eyes that it's daylight. And that's having an impact on the quality of your sleep, not allowing you to get into the deep sleep and the REM sleep that we know is so critical to our longevity. Wind down. The third best practice is wind down with a non-stimulating routine. We all live these stressful lives. Let's begin to at least start with 30 minutes. Leave it outside the bedroom. So wind down with some light breathing or journaling or light stretching or meditating or reading a book, not a Kindle, but a book, a magazine. The fourth, and this is around your sleep environment, keep your bedroom cool, quiet, and dark. If you can, blackout shades. Keep it quiet. Maybe you need earplugs, white noise machine, a mask. And the ideal temperature to sleep in is somewhere in the 60s. So mid 60s is the ideal temperature. Our body naturally will cool down at night, and it wants that cool environment. And here's the fifth one. It's say no to stimulants. So stay away from caffeine. Stay away from caffeine after 2 p.m. in the afternoon, because here's why. Caffeine is a big disruptor of sleep because it disrupts one of the neurotransmitters that promotes sleep. And caffeine stays in our body for 6 hours after we've had caffeine. I remember when I was working, I'd go down in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't drink coffee, but I drink tea, and I would have a green tea, which has caffeine in it, because I thought I needed to stay awake. And it was the absolute wrong thing to do, because it then impacted the quality of my sleep, which then impacted my next day, my energy level, my ability to focus. Alcohol as well. Stay away from alcohol at least a couple of hours. Alcohol is an anesthetizer, puts us to sleep, but prevents us from getting into those deeper sleep stages. Here's an example of a global executive and the evening ritual that we created for him. At 6 p.m., he sets an alarm on his phone. It's a prompt for him to realize that he needs to make a decision about whether he's going to stop work or he needs to continue work. Because in the absence of that, he continued to work and work and lost all track of time. So at 6 o'clock, the alarm goes off. He makes a conscious decision to continue working or not. And if he's done for the day, then he prints his calendar. He does basically a data dump and does his business planning for the next day and sets himself up for what he wants to accomplish. He then has dinner with his family at the table, no electronics. He actually needs a little bit of walking, wanted walking. Most people, I don't want you doing a lot of strenuous exercise before you go to bed, because it elevates your metabolism. But for him, he's either walking, and now he's walking outside just for 30 minutes. That evening sunlight actually enhances his circadian rhythm as well. By 8 p.m., if he hasn't already, he's shut down all his electronics. There's an alarm there as well. And then he goes, takes a shower, journals, and he asks himself, he reflects on the day. How did I show up today, and what was unique about me? Then he reads a book and lights out. Again, very specific as to the habits, the science-based habits that we know have the greatest impact on your overall health and wellness into a very practical evening ritual. So I want you to take a moment and design your evening ritual. Again, how are you going to move your body? How are you going to restore your body? How are you going to nourish your body? Plot that out. Take a moment to just begin to sketch it out. And what does your evening ritual look like? Let's talk about what's next. You've invested your time today here. Super honored that all of you are here live in the Zoom room or watching us as we are live streaming. And you have some choices today. You can continue this journey alone. That's a very realistic possibility. Continue this, I like to call it an adventure. Another option is we can have a call. And we can have a call about your morning ritual and your evening ritual and how it's working. And that's me helping to provide you with some guidance, some coaching. I can guide you through my system, which is proven, which allows for accountability and support. Or worst case scenario is you just don't do anything. And that's probably not the case with most high performers. The offer that I have for you is to schedule a 30-minute Ignite You call. It's a complimentary call. Let's continue this conversation today. Let's take a look at your evening ritual, your morning ritual, and what it looks like and how you might enhance it. And to do that, you can scan the QR code. My team is also putting a link to the calendar where you can schedule a complimentary call with me. And also, I'm going to invite you to join our public Facebook group. We have some great conversations with like-minded people in there. I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank you for investing in you. It's a great first step in beginning to live an even better life than you're already living. And I look forward to continuing the conversation. So schedule a call and have an amazing rest of your summer. And let's continue the conversation. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day. My name is Craig Bruce, and I believe that your health and lifestyle is a choice in winning at the game of life, relationships, and business. See you soon.